So there's a couple updates on the issue of psychedelics that I have for you here. This is really interesting to me. So apparently there's a Canadian psychedelic drug company that's now working on a vaccine for depression. That's sort of amazing. They say diagnosing, preventing, and treating diseases of the central nervous system is at the core of what they're doing here. So let me tell you a little bit about this. It's a Vancouver-based MYND, Mind Life Sciences. They're the company. They're exploring whether depression and other central nervous system disorders can be treated with novel psychedelic drugs, including psilocybin. So the research is going to go on with the University of British Columbia, and it's specifically on major depressive disorder. I mean, this is something that we've seen with all of these recent studies coming out on various psychedelic drugs, is that they have tremendous medicinal benefits that people dealing with PTSD or anxiety or depression or any of a number, of psychological ailments, there's really long-term profound effects, and it really helps these people. It sort of helps them think about everything in a new way and break through from old patterns of destructive thinking, allows them to be a lot more objective about their place in the world and how petty maybe a lot of their grievances are. So it's cutting-edge technology. They want to try to develop a vaccine to prevent neurological disorders. It's specifically targeting what they call the neuroinflammatory process before it starts. Now, I have no idea how successful this is going to be, obviously, but they're also working on delaying Alzheimer's disease and forms of dementia. And again, this is all related to psychedelics. So psychedelics are at the core, the heart of how they're going about trying to cure a lot of these things. Now, at the same time this is going on, more states in the U.S. want to study mental health benefits of psychedelics. So the research is now becoming more and more widespread. Let me read you a little something here. This is from Axios. More states are opening the door to psychedelics, with 7 states already passing laws over the last several months to allow research or decriminalize its use, and another 11 considering similar measures. Snowball effect, baby. That's what's going on there. There's a growing body of research suggesting psychedelic compounds with psychotherapy can be effective for anxiety, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, and substance use disorder, where other therapies have failed. Now, the reason why a lot of these states are like, we got to research this, is because opioid abuse. There's a lot of opioid abuse. There's a giant uptick in what's called diseases of despair. There's a lot more suicides. And so state legislatures are looking for new therapeutics, and a lot of them want to exhaustively study on this front. So in November, Oregon became the first state to legalize psychedelics in licensed supervised facilities and decriminalize them everywhere. And in the months following that, several states passed bills to consider allowing the study of the medical risks and benefits of magic mushrooms, psilocybin, of course. And then you have Texas Governor Greg Abbott allowed a bill authorizing the study of psilocybin to become law without his signature on June 18th. I don't know how he did that, but that's hilarious because that's a very Texas thing. They don't want to seem like I'm pro-drug, but also they don't like the idea of big government, so I guess they just allowed it to become law, and somehow he could do that without signing it. Connecticut Governor Ned Lamont signed a bill of health initiatives on June 7th that called for the state's Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services to report findings on psychedelics by January 1st of 2022. There's a New York bill, my state, which was introduced on June 1st that would require the state to establish an institute to investigate the medical potential of substances, including ibogaine, LSD, psilocybin, and certain other psychedelic drugs. California is considering a bill that would make California the second state next to Oregon to decriminalize psilocybin. So this is all really interesting stuff, man. MDMA and magic mushroom, psilocybin, have been granted what's called breakthrough therapy status by the FDA. Which is huge. That's, a giant breakthrough. And it's signaling a shift on the issue of mental health, that we're sort of stuck. We've been stuck in neutral for a long time when it comes to fighting mental health problems, and this is an attempt to break through that. Psychedelic drug developer ATAI, Atai Life Sciences, is backed by Peter Thiel, and they went public last month. It's one of 3 such psychedelic companies, including MindMed and Compass Pathways, that have both gone public in the last year. So this stuff is becoming more and more more and more socially accepted. I mean, when you have companies that are going public and this is the stuff they look into, real sea change, man. So listen, this is wonderful. This is an issue yet again where we're finally coming to our senses at this late date. I mean, I think all this stuff should be legalized, taxed, and regulated. At the very least, it should be decriminalized federally. And I do think in time we'll get there. I do. Right now, the polls are actually not that great on like legalizing, taxing, and regulating all drugs. I don't even think it's great on decriminalizing all drugs. But eventually we're going to get there. Because with a lot of issues, you'd be amazed at how fast public opinion can move. We saw it on the issue of gay marriage, for example. We saw it on the issue of legalized weed. The polls just kept going more and more and more and more in a left-wing direction. And I think it's going to happen with this as well. We're just sort of at the beginning now. Let's do it, man. Let's do it. I mean, I know this sounds obvious, but it's also controversial at the same time. The reason why people do drugs is because drugs work. Now, I'm not giving anybody a green light to get addicted and to, stop taking care of their responsibilities. You should still take care of your responsibilities. I hope you don't get addicted to any substances. But there's a reason why, for as long as human beings can recall, human beings have been entering altered states of consciousness. Getting drunk, getting high, going up, going down. They do it because it works. It works. It helps alleviate stresses and anxieties and, I mean, there's healthy ways to do it and there's unhealthy ways to do it, but this idea, this like abstinence idea of just say no and never do anything, it's kind of silly, and it's being unmasked as such as we speak, and I'm happy for it.